Devin Pike with the Dallas International Film Festival, and the shorts program at any film festival is always going to be an amazing width and breadth of filmmaking, but it's always great to see familiar faces in even shorts, and that's one of the things you get in Satellite Beach, one of the shorts here at the festival in 2014. We have the co-director of the short, the amazing Andrew Wilson. Andrew, thanks a lot for coming out, man. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us. We're glad
And
to be
Steve
here.
Eckelman as well. Steve, thanks for coming out as well.
Thanks for having us.
Talk a little bit about Luke's script. When Luke was putting it together, Luke Wilson, your brother, who wrote and stars in the short, did he already know that it was going to be shooting in and around the travels of the two shuttles as they make their way to their final destination, or was it a story about letting go and loss to begin with and then finding the device to tell that story?
What do you think, Steve? I mean, I feel like Steve was involved from the very beginning as a producer, and he and Luke sort of had the initial idea, so Steve might have a feeling.
Yeah, I think it was from Luke had read an LA Times article about the space shuttle, the planning for its move after it landed, and it was being retired, so it was going to land at LAX, travel through the streets of LA to the California Science Center, and it was this expansive article about like this engineer who was in charge of it, and I guess Luke thought of that might be a good idea for some sort of context for a film, a short film, and maybe I don't know really either. I think it was just the script is mainly his idea of a character set against that event. So his writing was really internal of how am I going to act.
When you're directing a short, you've got a finite amount of resources. You got to get it shot. Did you find that it was easier or harder to split the directorial duties with Luke on it, or was it just easier for him to say, okay, Andrew, you've worked with me before, you know the ins and outs of how I work and the crew as well?
Yeah, I think even though the short is, the budget is smaller and it doesn't take, there's not as big of a crew, it's not as big of a deal, even though there still are the same filmmaking elements. You still have actors, you still have locations, you still have cameras, etc. So it's very similar to the way we've worked before. And even though you do have those kind of constraints, financial constraints and time constraints on a short, sometimes those can lead to kind of creative solutions, and it's a really interesting format.
Is there? After so many years of working with Luke, is there still that sibling jab that happens every now and then on set? And you might actually be, because you can see it where they might not see it.
I don't know.
Andrew
might be able to answer that one.
I feel like I get jabbed a lot. I don't think I jab him ever, but
Well, of course
he'd have
not.
a very different answer.
But after you worked on a ton of projects together, is there a dialogue that occurs between you that you might not have on another set that where you're not working together?
Yeah, I think we do have
shorthand.
we do have very kind of similar tastes and cultural antecedents and parents and things like that, and so we sort of see the world, I think, in similar ways. Luke has great music taste and knows a ton about music, and so that's something kind of like that I've learned a lot from him about. And we like the same movies and same books and same friends and stuff like that. So it is really nice to be on the set with family and friends. It does make things. It definitely makes it easier. It makes it more relaxed, which is a very good feeling to have on a set.
I've talked to people who have seen the short at other festivals, and the thing that it sticks with them. It's just there's a universality to that, not wanting to let go of something that has been close to you for so many years. Did you? When you were looking at the script, working on it, developing the production, were you looking at it saying, this is going to be something that sticks with you, even as a short film?
I had a sense of kind of like almost like goodbye to the program and the shuttle, and that's, I think we learned about that after we started, like the sense that, especially Southern California, the amount of families and sort of neighborhoods that had been part of the building of the shuttle since the program began in 1972. I mean, that's a whole generation of people. And then also in Florida, near the Kennedy Space Center, at one point, that part of Florida was the fastest growing county in America. And so the sense of that, and then the just sense of sacrifice that for our nation, that wasn't like involved, particularly I always hear about it with military service or politics, but it was for the space program. And so I'm just trying to kind of acknowledge that, not outwardly in the movie, but it kind of seeped in.
Because of the reaction that you've gotten, have you given any thought to maybe taking this and expanding it into a full feature?
I think I don't know, Andrew.
Yeah, I mean, I think there has been some talk about that, and in fact, we had a much longer cut of Satellite Beach. It didn't work at an expanded length, but I think it could. I mean, I think the character is a really interesting guy. I don't know how we'd ever. I mean, that's kind of one of the funny things about Satellite Beach is the production value is like, it's like Avatar. To be able to have the real shuttle going through the streets of Los Angeles, that's never going to happen again. So we'll have to find something else for this character to do in a feature, or figure out a way to weave what we already have into a feature. But I think the character could definitely, Luke's character, Warren Flowers, could support a feature.
When you come to a festival, you generally, and we were actually speaking this before we started rolling, the shorts programmers will take a look at it and say the red carpets always roll out for us. Other festivals don't generally give shorts programming shrift. I mean, the same reception. When you come to Dallas, obviously from the area, you guys know the ins and outs of it. Does it feel a little bit like coming home for a festival like this?
I think so. I mean, our friend Lee Pappard is now the CEO of the festival, and then to hear that the festival was born out of filmmakers. It's not like a festival where a bunch of distributors are and people are hawking their movie. It seems like really a festival from Dallas, and it's just for us growing up here, it's fun to be here. And we always for me personally, I always wanted to escape Dallas to find some outlets, and then to be able to come back here and show our movies really fun, and kind of make peace with that to some degree.
Are there plans to? I know that the market for shorts is always odd because distribution channels aren't very developed other than being able to release it online or in a collection of shorts with other bits. What are the plans for Satellite Beach, after it is out of the festival circuit?
Yeah, that we're in the middle of that, so not really sure. I mean, because there's no path that's already established for shorts, and there are all these new areas like Netflix, iTunes, YouTube. What do we do with it? We're not totally sure. We'd like to show it maybe with NASA at their space centers, just so maybe more kids can see it. Because the movie does have in a sense, has a lot of information, and it's fun to watch.
For people in our age bracket who grew up in the middle of the space race, or as in the beginning of the shuttle program, is it painful to just see the shuttle not in existence anymore and know that massive double SRB launch is not going to happen in that format for years to come?
I don't know. For me, I think a part of America. I mean, it's not really just it's not the shuttle program particularly. It's just like the idea of discovery and the money going towards outer, science and NASA in general. I mean, I become a fan of NASA. The more I learn about it, it just seems like an amazing place, amazing people.
It did seem, some of Luke's narration in the movie was kind of poignant to me about the shuttle and how, the Endeavour lost two of her siblings and things like that. So that sort of hits home with, and does give it kind of like a sadness. And you realize like people were really putting their lives on the line, and just to see those ships retired is pretty incredible.
You can catch Satellite Beach as part of the shorts program here at the Dallas National Film Festival. You can find out more, and if you work out the distribution, because I would love for this to get mass distribution and be able to get it out to a wide audience. Check all those details out at dallasfilm.org. Guys, thank you so much for bringing it to the Dallas National Film Festival. We appreciate you coming in.
Thank
Thanks
you.
a lot.